Coming left.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ow! Yeah.
Thank you.
This year, I fell in love with cycling. Something completely unexpected. I bought a bike and found myself chasing PRs and challenges that I didn't think I was going to be able to best. Right down the street from my house, there is a climb. It's small. It's 3/4 of a mile. The average grade is about 6%. So it's not big. It's not going to rank on Strava. It's not going to be anything that a professional is going to bat an eye at. But for me, being completely new to the sport, it was a mountain. I started working on my documentary this year about fatherhood, and a big portion of that documentary is this wrestling with that climb, this wrestling with golf. I was trying to best a time. I was trying to make 3:30. I wanted to put myself in an uncomfortable position and see how good I could do. And, well, I'm not going to tell you if I made it or not, but because we're doing this now, you can probably assume the best. My goal changed. Instead of making 3:30, now I wanted to crack the top 10.
My legs are completely gone right now. Completely gone. Still felt like I had power. But yeah, that 320. That's gonna be hard to get.
I didn't make it. And that's okay. I'm new to the sport. This is my first year doing it. But I know I have it in me. If I really want to make an impact on the top 10, I have to get under 3 minutes, which means I have to erase 30 seconds of my time. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. What am I going to do in the off season? So I got Zwift, and I'm brand new to Zwift. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never raced a bike in my entire life. I've never trained for a race. I'm a level E or D right now. I want to see if I can get to A. I don't know if that's doable. I have no idea. I've never been in this sport before. There's going to be a lot of failure and a lot of hopefully success. But I think along the way, I'm going to experience a lot about what it means to push past barriers, to push past things that you think are impossible. So I got a bike, I got Zwift. First thing I have to do, I guess, is figure out what my FTP is. So I'm gonna do an FTP test.
Yeah, I think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big.
So I've watched a lot of videos on Zwift and a lot of these different racers, and have gleaned a lot of information from them, and it seems like the thing to do during these videos is give a voiceover of what you're learning. And there's a ton that I'm still learning because I'm a beginner. I don't know anything about biking. I mean, I'm still understanding what an FTP actually means for your riding ability. And I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag just a little bit here. I've done an FTP test before. So when I first got my Saurus M2, that's the trainer that I'm using, it came with a free week of Ruvi, which is basically a Zwift alternative. That week, as I was setting everything up, I wanted to get a ride in, and in order to calibrate the Saurus M2, one of the things that I heard was a good thing to do was do this FTP test. So I had zero warm-up. I had zero idea what I was doing. I mean, goodness, we were sick as a family that week. So regardless of all of that, I loaded up the test. I did a ramp test just like this one. And at the end of it, it came out with my FTP as 225. Cool. Don't know what that means. Even though that I know what Ruby says is my FTP, I'm interested to see what Zwift actually says is my FTP. Now, leading into this test, the day before, here's where I'm going to get all of my excuses out of the way. The day before, I had a pretty tough hockey game.
Snot rockets. That's awesome.
So I was pretty destroyed today. My legs were worked. I was tired. I was sore. So was this my best effort? I don't know. When we get towards the end, I can tell you that I feel like I gave up a little bit too quickly. And if I was fresh, maybe this would be different. But those are my excuses. That's what I have to get out of the way. Starting here for the first 3 minutes, I mean, it's super simple. It's super easy. If you've ever done one of these before, you know that it doesn't get hard until it gets really hard. And then it gets really hard. So we're coasting. We're doing our thing here for the first few minutes. In fact, let's speed it up. Here is where it starts getting harder.
I'm trying to keep it smooth. I just don't have a smooth pedal stroke here.
As you can see, Zwift gave me the advice to keep my cadence smooth and under control.
I'm consistent, but
Watching back, I can hear that whine that my pedal strokes aren't totally consistent, which is showing in my power output. I've heard some different advice from other riders on energy and its relationship to cadence and power, and what I'm trying to do is to keep my cadence around 85 to 90 RPM so that I'm flushing as much lactic acid as possible in my legs. And as I understand endurance sports, which is completely different than an anaerobic sport like hockey, is that you're training your functional threshold power, your FTP, to increase your lactate threshold, meaning the amount of lactic acid that's built up at a certain power output. And once you reach that threshold, your power significantly decreases, which is where you have all these tour guys that can rip at like 6+ watts per kilo and seem to move forever. Their threshold is just insanely high. So that's how they can withstand that intensity, that output for so long. And pigeons like me, who are used to sprinting and stopping and then sitting on a bench for a few minutes, I just don't have a super high threshold because my body is so used to significantly more rest and recovery periods. So all that to say, I'm looking to keep my optimal cadence between that 85 and 90 number because I've heard that keeping a higher cadence increases your body's ability to circulate blood and flush or pump that lactic acid out. And I've done Peloton rides with Matt Wilpers a lot, who has been kind of my intro into all of this cycling stuff, power zones, lactic acid, all of that. So I know a little bit. However, I understand that at a certain point, a higher cadence like this 85 to 90 at a higher resistance, which we're going to start getting into here at 260, 280, probably produces more lactic acid. So some of my intention in training is going to be to find out what that optimal balance is and try to push it up. And then, of course, at some other point, it all goes out the window and you just have to push through the pain. And that's something I'm super familiar with. Though getting to the end of this test, I'm starting to wonder if I have exactly what it takes. Right now at 280, you can see it's starting to get really hard. I can feel my legs blowing up. It feels kind of like I'm running through quicksand. They're super heavy. They're super pumped. And moving them up and down is getting really, really hard. And I keep looking at this 280 number. I'm like, man, can I sustain that? And then I see the 300 number. I'm like, can I even reach that power? You can hear my breathing. It's super heavy. My posture is completely destroyed. And I'm just really trying to hang on. And there's 300. I can see it coming up fast. And in my mind, I'm just starting to battle. This is where I start to feel like I could probably push as hard as I possibly can and completely blow myself up, or I could give up. And honestly, that's the mind battle that I want to put myself in more and more, because I know that that is where the real work is. That is where you get better. And you can see my power just starting to plummet. I'm gonna get a little philosophical here. Sorry, not sorry. This is exactly what it's all about. It's not, when I'm thinking about golf, when I'm thinking about that climb, it's not about the 40 minutes of riding before I hit the bottom. It's about the 3.5 or less, hopefully, where my legs feel like they're about to fall off of my body. My legs are about to explode. It's in those few minutes where all of life's actual battles are faced. That's why I fell in love with this sport. You know, I'm offered all of these opportunities to show up to what I know is going to suck and what's going to kill me, and see how all of that work translates into the rest of life. Or I can wimp up that hill and pedal home knowing that I didn't give it everything I had. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. I don't want to give up, and I wonder if I'm giving it everything I have, but man, I am just worked, and I let off right here. Could I have done more? Maybe. Probably. Could I have gotten to 320? No. But I maybe could have held 200 for another minute or so. And that's where I wonder if I gave up too early. But you know what? Here's the deal. Nobody cares about how I'm doing in Zwift. Nobody cares about my battle with golf and how fast I want to climb up it. Nobody but God and myself. And the thing is, the people who are going to benefit from my work on those places, in those places where nobody's watching, the people who will benefit from that hopefully are going to be many. I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about my wife. I'm thinking about, my family, the rest of my family, the people that I meet on the street. The work that I do, that you do in those places where you think you're going to fail, where you think it's too hard, where you think you're just going to die. The benefit from pushing into that place and staying there as long as you possibly can is incalculable. And that is what this story is all about. That is what my desire to get top 10 all time on golf is all about. It's not about getting my name on a list, on an app, on a phone somewhere. It's not about cool accolades on Strava. It's about who I want to be and who I'm going to impact because of the work that I do in the areas that I feel like I'm going to fail. Okay, so I have my FTP, 215. The next thing is to start hitting some races and see how I do and compete. This is gonna be crazy. Let's see if I can get to A.